We are live here. Hello, everybody. I'm very orange. Why am I orange? So orange. All right, there we go. Turn my light up a little bit. Now I don't look like the Great Pumpkin. Welcome in, everybody. Tonight, it's a special show. We are going to be play testing a brand new game that is currently in beta. It is a tabletop game called Zin Never Dies. It is rules light, super easy to make a character, classless kind of thing where you can sort of just design your own character and how you want them to be by saying, like, for example, there's no skill tree in this game, right? Like in D&D, like you have survival or stealth or what's another one? Medicine, I think, is another skill or something in D&D. In this game, you don't have that. You can just write down whatever you want. If you want to have skill in checkers, you can just write down checkers and put points into it, which I think is really cool. Another weird thing about this, or not weird, but a unique thing about this system is that instead of rolling to pass fail like in other systems where if you're trying to hit or beat a certain number in order to succeed at what you're doing, regardless of what your stats are, this game you are rolling to perform as expected. So if you have a really low stat, you're probably expected to not do so great. And if you are in a if you have a really high stat on something, you're going to be expected to do a lot better than that.
I broke it.
Oh, you're fine. I'll just readjust that. Okay, there we go.
Didn't want to be just a letter S, so I figured I'd turn on the bar back.
No problem. There we go. All right. But yeah. So that's basically it. There's like some world lore and stuff that I'm not great at remembering. I think I've said it on the channel before. Like one of the reasons I made my own setting in D&D is like it's really hard for me to like remember lore that's just handed down to me. Same reason I'm bad at history. I'm bad subject of history. Just trying to learn that kind of stuff is bad. So I'm not gonna be worrying too much about the game's system's lore. But yeah, we're gonna play a little bit of a game here. Based around I guess they do. I don't know what cooking show this is. But I know there's like a cooking show on TV where people are given like an ingredient and they are then supposed to design a recipe around that ingredient. And then they cook that recipe and are then judged against each other. So that is the concept of this RPG. Let us introduce our players and characters real quick. We'll start with substances used. Dion, let them know who you're playing tonight.
Hello, I'm Dion, also known as Substances Used on Twitch, and tonight I am playing Mommy Umami, the Masked Chef.
What is your character skilled in?
Well, Mommy Umami is skilled in cooking and baking. That's it.
Cooking and baking. That's it.
Yep, that's it. I'm just a little grandmother.
Nice. And Sangreti, rounding out our two-person cook team here. What is who's your character and what are their skills?
I am going to be Mr. Mochi, the Tower Dweller. We are a bird people, and I am an exceptional hunter. That's really about it. Not particularly good at anything else, but hunting and obtaining general supplies.
Nice. All right. Okay, so you guys are in a standard fantasy village. I don't have a name for it. If you guys want to name the town, feel free. If
Flavor
anybody's
Town.
okay, we're in the fantasy town of Flavor Town.
Fuck yeah.
I feel like I should have frosted my tips for this episode now.
It's run by the Jarl Fieri.
Jarl Fier.
He's a good guy.
I love it. So
Oh,
you're in
Very
It never
very
dies
intense
here.
clothing.
you're in the you're welcome in Zin Never Dies. Hey, that's the game we're playing.
It is.
They said the thing. Roll credits. We're done. Okay.
We're done. End stream.
So we're in Flavor Town with Jarl Fieri. And this is the dawn of the kind of winter months, right? So it's post harvest. It's kind of like their Thanksgiving-esque style holiday where there's this big cooking competition to see who can cook the best meal based on a certain ingredient. And that ingredient we are going to determine randomly right now.
Please don't be June meat. Please don't be June meat. Please don't be June meat. Please don't be June meat.
I'm gonna roll a D8, and I've selected 8 creatures. June is one of them.
Fuck
June is one of them.
you. And the-
June meat is terrible, but Sue Mother I think would be worse.
Oh, that'd be so cute. The
That's
egg of a
also on the
mother.
list. That's also on the list. Yeah, so we're gonna roll a D8 here, and I'm going to let you guys know what the secret ingredient for this year's festival is. Okay, so that's an 8. And with an 8, you have lucked out. It is not June. June was 7. This year's secret ingredient is going to be Zetsu dog tail.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Fast as hell, dude.
Yeah, it's like a velociraptor on all fours. It's fine.
Dog
they're
lizards that
so
can sprint
fast.
200 meters in 20 seconds. They are ferocious hunters relying on slow methodical tracking. And when they finally track their prey, vile unnatural sprinting. They will attempt to get as close to their prey as possible before launching their attack, because in the event that they miss, they will be so exhausted as to become sitting targets. They stand tall on 4 legs with a clearly reptilian tail wiggling behind them and a vaguely reptilian head in front. In the dark, they might be mistaken for dogs or wolves. In the light, however, their true nature becomes apparent. So yes.
I'd like to inform you that the math says that is 22 miles an hour that thing can run.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Ah, they
That's
ain't
not
got shit on
bad.
Usain Bolt.
I'm just saying, that's fast as hell for an animal.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. Pretty fast. But yeah, in this particular setting, Zetsu dog tail is like a very is the meat is like, think of like really good slow cooked ribs, you know, like really tender supple meat, but it's also got this like great sort of fattiness to it as well that imparts a lot of flavor, especially if you like like braise the fat. Like instead of like putting butter or something in the pan, you just like render the fat and like cook it in its own tallow and stuff like that. Um, Pretty difficult, I would think, to track a thing like this. Um, but that's this year's secret ingredients. There are going to be multiple teams participating in this event, including your group. Um, but yeah, you guys are at the festival. The head chef kind of makes like a the head chef is like the main judge of this. There's like a couple more, like a guest judge and like that kind of stuff going on. They make like the big like kind of opening speech. They let you know that Zetsu dog is going to be your ingredient. And yeah, they sort of just like let you go off into the world. You guys know that the process of this is that you go find your ingredient, however that may be. You may be lucky and find your ingredient in a store, or you may have to go find it in the wild. But after you find it, you come back and make the meal. You are scored on presentation, on like the actual flavor, creativity of the meal, and the actual speed at which you get back here to actually cook and make your meal. So like people who can go out, grab a ingredient, be right back and make their item first have a little bit edge on a competition, right? Rather than people have to maybe go out into the woods and forage something. But I'm gonna turn it over to you guys now. What would your first sort of like what are you thinking? You're in this sort of like big kind of coliseum like arena. There's like the judges kind of table like at the on the first level of like the bleachers and stuff, and you're there. We're gonna say there's like 4 teams total. So there's like 4 big cooking stations in this like coliseum kind of amphitheater that you're in. What are your plans here? What are you gonna do?
I would like to immediately look at Mami Unami and see if they pull out coin or a knife to tell me which direction I'm going for things.
Mami Umami, being a silent protagonist, is going to kind of stare at the display of like the Zetsu dog for a minute with like her head tilted. And just so the audience knows how Mommy looks, is the mask to like this little thing over here, right? And but her mask has a chef hat attached, like it's part of the mask. It's just a big chef hat plumage on top. And she looks like this little like babushka. She's just round and fat and just this little tiny like waddling masked person that's like 2-3 feet fucking tall, right? So she's gonna just like stare at it for a minute, look over at Mr. Moshi and just pull out a coin, just like wha. That's just the go signal.
Okay. It seems the initial intent would be to purchase some kind of ingredients and see where we go from there.
All right, cool. Yeah. You see pretty much as soon as the head chef says, and commence, the other teams immediately they're just bolting for the exits, like running as fast as they can to get out of this amphitheater and go off into the world.
I have a question about the construction of the amphitheater.
Yeah.
Is it... What is the roof situation in here? Is this like Roman Colosseum style, or is it like community theater style?
It's like Roman Colosseum style. Like there's no roof over top. Also, Rachel, welcome in. We're playtesting a game called Zin Never Dies tonight, and we're doing it Food Wars style. Our intrepid heroes over here are cooks in a cooking competition. They have to go find the tail of a lizard dog type creature called a Zetsu dog. They have to find its tail and make a meal based on that ingredient.
I would like to, I guess, fly and go over to Mami Unami. I'm gonna call you MM because it's easier to say. um, and I'm not going to like grab with a crazy amount of force because I do know my talons are a bit sharp. I'm gonna go for the shoulders and kind of pick them up and fly out the roof because
Mommy,
wings.
yeah, Mommy Umami just assumes the position in a T-pose style, knowing that she's gonna get swooped up from our years of teamwork, and just gets like Titanic style lifted, and you just hear an off like tune recorder in the background as we fly off out of the Coliseum last.
Nice.
Doors are for squares.
So one of the teams is 2 humans. These are people that are basically look like humans, but they have antlers. Their god is a stag, I believe. Then there is a team of a Feyborn and a suit. So that's a cat person and a slug inside of a suit of armor. And then the other team that you are going up against is a hardened and a nuck, which is so where like the masked are like the sort of wizardy arcane kind of people. The nuck are like a similar looking race, except they're more naturey and like druid like from what I have been reading in the book. But yeah,
Question.
Mm-hmm.
As we are flying out of the arena, can we go over the suit?
You can fly over the suit, sure.
Oh,
I would like to fly over the suit, and while flying over the suit, I would like to bend my beak down to the many small pouches on my belt line and
Okay.
undo one of them and just drop it like a bomb.
Okay.
Just hit the ground in front of the suit, and it's just a bag of salt.
Okay. Are you trying to hit the suit? Like, are you attacking the suit, or?
I'm not trying to attack the suit. I am trying to somewhat intimidate them by dropping the salt near to them.
Okay. All right. Hey, with our first roll, I think that would be Dex. Just like, bend down and do that and drop it at the right time. So yeah, I don't unless you have a skill in like bombardiering or something that would help you in dropping a bag of salt on or near somebody. I think that's just a straight dexterity test here.
I don't have a skill for that. I do have stealth, so I feel like I might be less noticed doing it, so it'd be seen more as an accident should it go awry.
Okay. Yeah, roll you can make a stealth check first and that will determine then we'll do like the actual dropping of it.
Okay.
And that'll we'll figure out what that means narratively.
D20, right?
Yeah, just a roll a d20, a 3. What's your wiggle on stealth?
If it's a
dex plus
skill,
yeah, so it'd be your dex wiggle plus your skill levels.
so
I'm
4?
pretty sure.
7 max?
Okay, so yeah, a 3 is not great. You're the clasp of the belt pouch, it like sticks, so it's like very hard for you to just quickly like bend and open it and like do it subtly. You have to make like a big showing of it, but you get you get it open and the salt starts to pour out of your little bag here. So make just a flat dexterity check here to see how well that goes. So that's a 19. So that'll be above your. So you perform better than expected here. So your goal was to not hit him, which that was what was gonna happen if you rolled poorly. But you rolled better than expected, so you kind of like, I think what happens here is like you don't just like drop the whole bag and it like makes like a single like spot of salt for them to like have to avoid. But you like actually like first make like this giant kind of barrier of salt as if you were like, I don't know, protecting the doorway of the Colosseum from like an evil spirit or something like that. And then you finally like get that actual pouch to like drop off like you wanted to, and it creates this giant plume of like airborne salt that just completely stops the suit from wanting to move towards that exit. Um, their Feyborn partner's gonna keep running through it, but they're gonna the suit is gonna have to move off into another direction here, and find something, another way of getting out of this Coliseum.
I never said I was inherently good. We're here to win.
We are. I just point forward as we continue flying, like, away! Trusty steed.
I write down these. I am ad libbing a lot of this. I just wanted to make sure I wrote down who's on what team, so that I don't forget that information. There we go. Alrighty. So you guys end up flying out over the top of the Colosseum. This place is not structured exactly like the Roman Colosseum. It is kind of structured like a normal, like a kind of stadium that we would have today. So like leaving the ground area, like the actual the play field as it were, like you have to go down hallways and there's like locker rooms and you have to like travel through all these different corridors and stuff before you finally like actually get out. So you guys have a major lead on the competition here, since you're just flying up and over and out of the arena. You guys are the first out and onto the streets. Now you live here. You live in town. So you would know of various shops and things. Where would you like to go first for finding this tail? There's probably like a food market. There may be like a hunter's guild. There could, various places like that. If you want to make up something, feel free.
How long have we been in Flavor Town?
How long have you lived here? Like this is like a local custom. It's not like
Oh,
a.
okay. Okay, so we're locals.
If you want to be, you could also be maybe traveled here recently and just learned of it. It's like, oh yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd like to say that probably being like a chef, I've been around Flavor Town every now and then. But I think I'm gonna point him in a direction that's contrary to where most people would go. Like most people probably, I'm thinking, would want to go to the market area, right?
Sure.
I'm pointing us to like the back end of the restaurant district of like some of the back end streets and all that. Mami Umami, has to keep her jar of secret umami spices stocked at all times. She can't run out of that shit. So she found this like back alley restaurant that out the back door they'll sell like some of their spices and things, and she kind of stocked up and made friends with them, like showed them a couple of tricks. So I'm gonna go to like some back end restaurant that deals with more exotic cuisine that's like less traditional, and I'm gonna be looking for some of those tales there.
Okay. Cool.
That's a really clever thought. Good job, Sub.
Yeah, so you head into this back alley. Let's see. Yeah, it's like dirty, grimy back alley, dumpsters, and all that kind of stuff, and weird steam grates that just kind of like steam plumage and greasy, grimy bricks on all the buildings and stuff, and it's like a dead end alleyway that like ends in like a red door that's got one of those like rectangle windows that has like the little slide thing, so like it quickly like snaps open and you just see like somebody's eyes and they're like, what's the path? Like one of those kinds of places. And in fact, that's exactly what happens when when you get in there. You are indeed go up and the little window snaps open and like, password.
Since I'm like 2-3 feet tall, I'm assuming he doesn't really necessarily see me at first. So I'm gonna lift up my cane, which like they probably recognize because I've done this a bunch of times. I just wiggle it back and forth a little, like I'm down here, like it's me.
I'm gonna stare at the doorman in the most "I'm going to eat you" way possible for a bird.
Interesting. Roll a little.
Definitely a bit of bird of prey
here.
One of those "your eyes look delicious" looks.
So you can tell just by like the size of the face in the window there that the doorman is a hardened. So I don't think I explained that earlier, but hardened are like really really big, kind of muscular guys, like much bigger than a normal human. So it's like these big, maybe even only like one eye is like in the little window, and he you see like just a little bit of like a sort of like being taken aback. Like he doesn't like he has a pretty good poker face. Like the what are they called? The tower dwellers are not uncommon. So he's kind of like used to dealing with like your species, but there's just something about like your specific look that he's just like but he'll the little window snaps closed and the door opens up and you see this like hardened who probably would like have to like really bend down and like squeeze through the door. Like this is just a normal sized door, but this guy is probably like, I don't know, 10 feet 11 feet tall and like really really wide, and he'd probably have to like bend down and really like squeeze through this opening to get out of this door. But he's like, oh mom, well come on in, you need some more spices.
She shakes her head really quick and just immediately starts like pantomiming like blah, 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 like cooking motions and all that, and then I like kind of do like I shape out the lizard, like the general shape of the lizard, and I'm just like ah! And I like do the little waggy tail.
I'm gonna make you roll a wisdom check here
Yes,
to
sir.
see how well you can pantomime this.
I pass between my
Fair enough.
wiggle stat. Oh wait, no. I fail by one. I think. I rolled a 15, my wisdom's 12, and my wiggle's a 2.
All right, so you
I do
performed
better
better than expected. Yeah,
Yeah,
you do
okay,
better
cool.
than expected.
Alright. I'm new to this.
Yeah. So yeah, the wiggle stat is to perform as expected. So if you have a low stat, probably not going to be great. If you have a high stat, you'll be at average or better. as expected. If you roll under your wiggle range, then you're performing worse than expected. If you roll above it, you're performing better than expected. So you do all these like crazy jerking motions, pantomimes. You're like, rah! It's like you're making noises and stuff for this creature, and the the Harden's like, okay, so you're in the cooking competition this year, and you need to find a Zetsu dog tail pronto so that you can get back there fast and win the competition before anybody else makes a meal. Gotcha. It's like you do like 5 motions and it's like a very much like a Han talking to Chewbacca kind of situation where like nobody else understands what's going on.
Exactly.
But he like gets you perfectly. We're gonna do a roll here. And see
It's that rainbow connection.
whether or not they actually have any of this stuff.
And live is fine too. I'm sure he got that from the thing too. I don't just need a tail. I can butcher one.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 3 on my d20.
Oh no.
So he's gonna continue his speech. Is like, you know, we just like this morning we just butchered the last Zetsu dog, and the tail is already being used in a stir fry right now. There was a fancy party came in. One of the nobles from the what do they call that city nearby? The one with the sugar castle. They came in.
Sugar cookie port. I got you.
Yeah, there you go. He's like they came in. There's a big banquet. We had to butcher the last Zetsu dog. So we don't have a tail for you today.
I look to I kind of tilt my head for a second, and then I just kind of like make like a motion of like someone tossing stir fry, as if like, do you have any of the stir fry left?
Ooh. All right, I'll make another roll here. And with a 15, he's like, yeah, we do. It's kind of against the rules though for you to bring pre-cooked food in to the competition, but I'm not gonna tell anybody if you don't.
I nod, and I'm just like, I pull out the jar of pickled Hishan testicles that I have, which Hishan in this universe are like the world's horses, and I have a jar of pickled horse testicles that for snacks. But I pull it out for trade.
Why?
I just boop, present it from my prison pocket.
He looks at he like picks up the jar. Like in your hands, you're like holding them up like this. It's like a normal sized pickle jar, but you're just like, ah, and he like picks them up and he's like, whoa. Like just holding them between 2 fingers and like, he's like, well, that's disturbing that you just carry these with you wherever you go. But sure, maybe the chefs can use that as like a garnish or something. He's gonna like sets them to the side.
I'm gonna kind of bend my beak down to like a shirt pocket, I guess is the closest. It's really hard for me to picture because the wings where clothing, like it'd be hard to figure out clothing that would work effectively. And if I understand correctly, this isn't a terribly uncommon creature, right? The Zetsu dogs are fairly common.
Yeah, I would say that it would be like trying to get bear meat, I would assume. Something like that. They're probably not the most like common thing, but like, people probably hunt them and whatnot.
I look up to Mr. Mochi as in like a trust me, I have a plan Look, through those 3 holes in my mask that are like dead center like a bowling ball instead of spread out and large, they're just tiny beady eyes. They just stare at you and you just know that I
Oh
know
yeah,
what I'm doing.
I know for sure that you're going to handle it. I just kind of peck out of my pocket a single bronze coin and give it to the doorman.
He takes your coin, and then he like kind of turns over his shoulder. He's like, Clark, yeah, we got an order for takeout. We're gonna need a takeout box over here. And and then a couple of minutes, he brings you like one of the like a your standard little cardboard like Chinese food box, full of this Zetsu dog tail, like chunks of fried greasy tail meat.
I'm gonna quickly pick out all the meat, like really quickly, and I'm gonna use my Tower of Alteration ability to perform a permanent uh, small/simple change to medium-sized objects. And this change is I'm going to put all the pieces together and make it one solid piece of tail meat.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
And that uses one of my spell slots. Boop. Or do I use 2
Well,
because it's a
yeah,
level 2
it's a
spell?
level 2 spell, so you use 2 spell
Okay,
slots.
so I use 2 of my spell slots
Right.
to do that.
Okay. Yeah, you like reform. You get like a slab that's I'd say it's depending on the size of the box, you could probably get like a pretty good like, steak size cut of tail.
You'd say like an 8 to 12 ounce steak, or
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. There's 4 judges.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
There are
That's
no
all I
three
need.
three judges.
3 judges, even better. I give a salute to the doorman, and I give a salute to Mr. Mochi. We're ready to go. I have everything I need.
All right. um as you guys turn to leave this establishment and you head down the alleyway, right as you guys get to the kind of like where the alley like meets the streets, you see that Suit and the Feyborn turning down the alleyway to go where you guys went to get some food.
Hmm.
That Suit, he clocks you. He like looks at his partner, looks back at you. He like pulls out a sword. He's like, "You motherfucker! How dare you throw salt at me? You know how
I
much
just-
that shit stings."
I just point up. I'm like, let's go.
I think it's the first time my character will have talked. I guess around the doorman, because the doorman never would hear me speak. We'd kind of be more of a silent duo, as far as I'm aware. But I give him a thanks, Larry, and then go. And as we go, he gets the moment of shock of he said something, but then gets the moment of realization that's not my name.
What? Larry's not your name?
Then doorman's name.
Oh, the Dormans? Like, wait, that's not fair. That is fair. Yeah, it's probably not his name. You're right.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, if you how are you reacting to this scene? Actually, I mean the suit he's ready for combat.
Hmm.
You see the Feyborn kind of like, I think do they have natural? I don't think they have natural claws, do they? Maybe this one does.
I've got an idea. How far away are they?
You're kind of like leaving. I was saying like you were sort of like leaving the alleyway, just as like they were kind of rounding it. So within like a couple of feet, maybe not lunging distance, but certainly within like, if you were gonna attack somebody, it wouldn't be that hard to take a step or two.
So I'm gonna use my Zin, Tower of Creation, and I'm going to conjure a salt block, like the ones for deer, and kick it towards him. Kind of like a large block of ice skating across something.
Can I combo attack with this?
What do you want to combo it with?
I'm going to use my Tower of Fire level 1 ability to produce a small fire inside the block so it explodes outwards as it's going. So it's just like because the heat inside expands and just makes the
Christ.
salt block shatter.
Yes.
The weapon of chefs.
I would like a since I don't think creating it's going to be a problem for you. I would like a dexterity roll from you, Sangreti, and in order to place it inside something that you can't see where you're aiming, I want you to roll a Zin check, Dion.
I do.
+3.
I do worse than expected.
Worse than expected. Okay. What? Yeah, your dex is okay. So you do better than expected, I would think, for the 16. So yeah, what happens here is, you start to kick this thing, and it move like you're really good, right? You're aiming real good. Unfortunately, Mommy Umami's timing is off just a little bit, and the thing explodes well before you meant it to. So I'm gonna have all 4 characters here make dex checks to avoid getting just shards of flaming salt shrapnel. Um,
I hit dead on my dex without wiggle.
Got a 4, and that's with all wiggle.
I like to assume my version is just drop, just fall prone instantly.
So you don't add your wiggle to your roll. You just roll a d20, and your wiggle is
Oh yeah, well I rolled a
subtracted
1
and
so.
added to. Yeah, well I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you rolled a 1. That is a bad.
It's as
10.
bad as it can possibly be.
You said your dexterity is a 10, Dion?
Yeah, and I rolled a 10.
Okay. So I need to roll 2 d20s here.
I was
for
not expecting the block of salt
NPC.
to explode.
And NPC. Ooh, no. Yeah, that is going to be a d12 of damage. Let me wait. Where's my rule book? Hold on. See, is there any weapon? I don't think there's any weapons that are like
Exploding block of salt?
yeah.
Molotov cocktail.
Blades,
Extra
small
salt on
blades,
the rim.
spears, axes, bows, crossbows, bludgeons.
I would say it'd probably be something to the accord of bludgeons. It's a bunch of small rocks, basically, going everywhere.
I check the Zin towers quick. Tower of Fire doesn't look like there's any damage related to the Tower of Fire or any of them. So I think this is like these are flaming shards of a block of salt. I actually think it's more like a bow or a spear, perhaps.
Okay.
7, 8, or We'll go with a bow. That's a less that's a lower lethal range. So if it does life points, it's not gonna take out too many of your life points. So let me. I go here. We're going to roll a d12. So the lethal range on this is a 5 to 8. If the damage is a 5, 6, 7, or 8, this is going to come out of your life points. I'm going to say because you performed as expected, Dion, you will take half damage, I think. As well as the Feyborn. The Slug guy got a 1.
Oh no.
So he's gonna take full damage, but he's also a slug guy, so he's gonna take double damage because he's a slug guy. I'm just making this stuff up. I don't know if how the creator of this game would rule this, but you know, I didn't expect this to happen either. So here goes nothing. Roll a d12. And that's only a 1, so I think everybody takes 1 HP damage, and the slug guy takes 2 HP damage. But he definitely kind of like recoils in from that. He is off balance, and I think we are going to start an actual combat scenario with that action. So look here. What are both of your dexterities?
10.
Or 10
11.
Dex, 11 dex. So Sangreti goes before Dion. The Feyborn is gonna go first, and the Slug guy is gonna go last. So the way this works is, you are just simply ordered from highest dex to lowest dex. Everybody gets 2 actions, I believe, in this system. And you can take those actions kind of like as they come up. So if somebody attacks you and you want to try and dodge out of the way, you can roll like a dexterity check to go out, and that's going to be one of your actions. So people who tend to go later in the combat round are going to be reacting more than like engaging in action, and people who go first are going to be more like inciting action rather than reacting. But yeah, the Feyborn, she's gonna like hiss at you, Sangreti, and she's gonna like leap at you, claws out, and she's going to make she's gonna use both of her actions in combat right now, to try and attack you here. Roll 2d20s. Performing well below expected here. Just immediately 2 whiffs. That off to a bad start. Skagwater RPG, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. We are playtesting Zin Never Dies tonight. I believe it's going to be out on Kickstarter early next year. We're just doing a little playtest, seeing how the system works, so we can give feedback to it. I liked the concept, and well, now we're here. We're currently playing a game where our 2 lovely contestants tonight are actually competing in a cooking competition. They have just gotten the secret ingredient, but have come face to face with one of their competing teams, who they had annoyed earlier in the episode. They just exploded a giant block of salt There's a slug in a suit of armor that just took some damage from it, and a cat person who are attacking our two characters here. One is a small little gnome-sized person, called a mask, and the other one here is a bird-like person with wings for arms. February, I think so. I don't quote me on that. I think the Kickstarter is in February. But yeah, so the Feyborn, I think she just like leaps at you. You know, cat hisses. She just tries to scratch at you. But you know, giant flaming block of salt that just exploded kind of makes her not leap quite as far or accurately as she possibly could. And she's going to miss her attacks. But that is going to bring us down to you, Sangreti, actually. You are up next. So you have...
How far away is the slug guy? Is he still kind of recoiling from the explosion of salt?
Yeah, he's probably like 8-10 feet away from you.
Can I use an action to kind of retreat and put myself between Mami Unami and them?
Yeah, you can be a body shield.
Okay. I'm gonna do that and then use my other action to take off and just be kind of floating in front, ready to react and block.
Cool. So yeah, a move and fly in. You fly into place, kind of buffeting the Feyborn with your wings so that she can't get to Mommy Umami. Speaking of, it's your turn, Mommy.
Cool. I get 2 actions?
Yes. You get 2 actions
Okay.
per round.
Cool.
And they can happen as reactions or whatever.
Perfect.
Moving does count as an action, though.
Okay. So, first action, I'm still prone because I had dropped. So, I'm going to reach between. Well, he flew, right? So, he's in
Yeah.
the air now. So, I'm going to just reach forward a little bit and, like, is this feline person, are they wearing shoes?
They're I'm just gonna say they look like the picture in the book. So they've got like shin guards and like knee pads on, but like their actual like cat pads are on because it got claws and stuff.
I got
Perfect.
toe beans.
What's the floor? What's the ground? Is it cobblestone, like tiles, or okay,
Yeah, it's
perfect.
like cobblestone.
Okay, so I'm gonna slap my hand on the cobblestone that she's standing on, like a piece of the cobblestone,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna turn that with my alteration magic into super glue. And that is gonna be with my first level, so it's only going to last for a full minute. Uh, so it's like that small area just becomes very, very adhesive and sticks her foot, like
Yeah.
1 foot, I'm assuming, because it's a small area, but that's enough to keep her from moving. My second movement is Sangreti holding like a spear or anything, or are your talons free?
Talons are free.
How
I'm
high
just.
up are you?
I am not very high off the ground to the point where if
Perfect.
you duck, you could get underneath and.
Okay. I'm not. I'm jumping up and I'm grabbing your talons and I'm ready to fly away.
All right. Before you do that, I want you to make a Zen check here.
Yes.
Tower
Yes.
of Alteration will add to this.
I pass. Better
Okay,
than
yeah, you're fine.
expected.
Yeah, so here's what happens. The Feyborn, she already used her 2 actions, so she can't use a reaction to try and dodge out of the way of this. She gets fucking glued in place with her little feet. She can't move. I had you roll to make sure that you cast the spell correctly and didn't glue yourself to the ground as well. But with a 17, you're above and beyond what is expected of you. You just like boink, turn it into glue. The stone is all sticky. The cat person is stuck to the thing, and you jump up onto Mr. Mochi's leg. So yeah, that is. I think I also want you to make a strength check to actually hold on to to his leg.
I do about as expected with my wiggle.
On strength, really?
Yeah, I have a strength of 5 and I have a wiggle of 4. So I rolled
it would be a 6 to a 14 would be as expected. So you rolled
Oh,
below expected.
I thought wiggle meant like below 5 as well.
No, so your wiggle
Oh.
is 10 is always the base, right? And wiggle is
Oh.
added to both sides of the 10. So it's
Okay.
subtracted from 10, so 4 wiggle goes down to 6 and up to 14.
Okay.
And that is the
see.
range in which you are performing as expected.
I got you.
If you
Okay,
roll
so
outside
I did
of that,
worse. Yeah.
you did worse as expected. So you jump up, you grab onto the leg, and slowly slide, and then fall off and onto your back. I won't make you land on the glue, but yeah, you fall off the leg. So
I am 100% aware you're there now.
do I want to be famous? Bam! Welcome in, Molly. We are playing playtesting Zid Never Dies. Our characters are chefs who have just gotten a secret ingredient for a cooking competition, and they are now currently in combat with another team. Let me do my job. Never. All right.
I mean, they attacked us. You know, we did a harmless prank. They went for assault.
I'm pretty sure you went for the salt first.
No, they went for assault, not the salt. I went for the salt.
Yeah.
Maybe they went for a salt, a pink Himalayan salt instead of a kosher sea salt. But yeah, the suit is going to try and knock you to the ground, I think. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. So he's gonna try and ground you, Sangreti. So this is gonna be he's actually gonna be bludgeoning you, but with his sword, trying to knock you out of the air. So he's gonna roll a d12, or sorry, he has to attack first. My bad. I think he misses. God damn, he's still freaked out about the salt. Which is going to bring it up to the top of the round. Everybody's got their actions back. Or I guess, wait, he gets 2 actions. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, he could try and attack again. It's totally reasonable that he would. But wouldn't he have to move towards me because he was 8 feet away?
Yeah. You have to move towards you. So yeah, kind of like tiptoeing around the salt with one of his moves and then attacking you with his other. It is a no-go, as they say. So... yeah, up to the top of the round. The Feyborn, she is stuck. I'm gonna say she can't quite reach either of you, so she's gonna use her first action. She's gonna make a strength check here. She's gonna try and pull her foot up out of the glue.
Save the toe beans.
Performing as a little bit better than expected. She's not the strongest person, so she is able to free her foot from that. Just like super glue, so that's probably gonna hurt. That's gonna do 11 HP damage to her. As
holy crap!
Wow.
Yeah, it like rips the fucking skin off the bottom like of her little toe beans, like all the calloused flesh of her like little cat pad foot, like just rips it off. Like she's bleeding. She's like hopping on one foot now.
Some people pay good money for that spa treatment. I expect compensation.
I don't think they exfoliate their feet as that much.
Well, maybe they should, and they wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah. Yep, that's what it is.
Oh man, that makes me. Yeah, right. You get your like skin flayed off your foot? No thanks. Yeah. So she's like hopping around. And she's gonna actually try and dive at you, mommy umami, trying to grab that container of
Don't
sweet
touch me.
tail meat.
Don't you touch me.
That is actually, she's performing as expected. So she actually dives on top of you and grabs that container.
Can I do a reaction?
Well, yeah, you can try. Sure.
Would I do?
What do you want to do?
You know what? I want to do. I want to use. Let's see. Let me think. Okay. So, can I make the stir fry that I had, like the leftover rice and veggies? Can I make that temporarily look like tail meat when she goes for like? Because I have like the tail,
Hmm.
and then I have all the stir fry that's left over. Can I make that temporarily look like a tail when she goes to like reach for the container?
Yes. I'm gonna say I have no idea how this would actually work. And I'm slow at reading things, so I'm gonna say that we're gonna like swap over to like D&D style rules here. The 9 is your target. If you can match or beat a 9 on your roll, you'll succeed, and she'll take the transformed veggies. And if you don't,
Okay.
she actually grabs the meat.
All right. So I rolled a 7,
Yeah.
and I'm using Zin, so that's a wiggle of 4. What does that do for me? I
That's
have
why I
to.
said I don't know. So
Oh, okay.
that's what I was saying. If you could roll a 9 or better on the D20,
Okay.
I'd let it go off. You
Okay.
transform it, but you transform it a little bit too late, and she
Too late.
clearly sees like, okay, that's fake. This is what I need. And she's
Shit.
going to
Okay.
grab the meat. She can't move away yet, but now she has the
Yeah.
actual meat that you need.
Okay.
So, I'm question on logistics here.
Sure.
Mami Unami was directly underneath me,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
So this cat person and Mami Unami are directly underneath me now, and the cat person I assume is on top between me and her, grabbing the food.
I'd say like the
Yeah.
space directly in front of both of us, but like in my personal bubble.
Yeah.
Existential crisis.
It's like the worst time to do this. Why would you do this, Nixel? We're in the middle of an RPG. I'm supposed to be DMing. You're supposed to be taking these things seriously right now. Why would you come in here and you make me go into an existential crisis? Should I even be DMing right now? Am I even doing a good job? Why are we streaming this? I believe the guy who made this role-playing system's in the audience, and I don't even know if I'm doing it right. I don't know. It's all just too much to take, and I don't appreciate you coming in here and throwing me off kilter like this. It's really ruining the flow, man. I don't know what I should be doing anymore. What do dice even mean? What are the rules to this game? What are the rules to life? I don't know. This reward is a lot longer than I thought it was, and I don't know what to say anymore. I'm a failure. I can't even have an existential crisis in the right way. What have you done to me? We were supposed to be playing games and not this. I think I hit the button twice, and that's why it's longer than what it should be, and it's playing the music more. My throat hurts because I've been screaming this whole time. Why? Why, Nixel? Why? Why would you do this? Is this ever going to stop? I don't think this is ever gonna stop. God damn. No, this is literally going on way longer than it's supposed to. I think I broke it. I think we broke it.
You know what also never dies other than this existential crisis? Zin. Zin never dies.
Yes. That's
Boom,
true.
title, roll credits.
Alright, there we go.
Well, I think I have an idea, and it's very mean. So
Alright.
are we going from playful trickery to assault?
Oh, assault her. She's almost dead, I'm sure. So
I mean, well, she hasn't taken any life points damage. She's only taken points to her
hit
HP.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like almost halfway dead.
Okay, so you know how I normally pick up Mami Unami? Like I'm very, very careful about it. I know my talons are sharp. I'm gentle when I try to do it, right?
Sure.
My body is ready, take me.
None of that shit is happening right now. I'm grabbing
Oh.
this Feyborn as hard as I can on her back in the most painful places I can think of and going straight up.
Oh god.
And a big difference here, Mami Unami has hollow bones. She's light. Meaning, I'm probably not actually lifting her, but I'm taking chunks of her flesh with me.
Owie. Okay.
Oh yeah, if you fail the strength, you don't pick her up. If you pass it, you do pick her up.
Yeah.
This is the attack that, I mean, she's right underneath me. She chose this.
She woke up and chose violence today. All right.
I was playful. She chose pain. So yeah, that's a 3. I don't think I'm lifting her up, but I'm sure it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, so how do you want to do this? So that would be a check. That would be a strength check to pick her up if you actually connect, right?
Right. So then, would it be
So,
another roll
yeah,
to
you'd
see
have
if
to
I
roll
hit?
like an actual talon attack here. Yeah, I think.
About as expected.
All right. Yep. So you don't pick her up. You do succeed in rending her flesh with your talons.
I have a question on wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Talon Strike skill at
Yes.
level 2.
Uh-huh.
Does that
And
make
that's
that a 13 roughly? I mean, in that bubble.
No. So the way the wiggle room works, as far as I'm aware,
Is it? It's the
um,
goalpost, right? It's within
yeah,
this range.
yeah.
So
It's a
instead of
range.
being like 9 to 12, in this case it is
Okay,
7 to 14. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Just trying to understand that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you add your skill points and your actual stat points together, and that increases your range.
Yes.
So your actual rolls, like your D20 rolls, is only ever going to be the actual number on the die. The thing that's modified is the range at which you are going to be doing things. It's a little, again, very unique system. So, it's unlike anything we've ever played before. So it can
It's
be
taking a little getting used to. I like it though. It's cool.
So yeah, your attack's gonna hit, but you don't lift her off the ground. But that means you get to do your claw damage. I think we said the talons were small blades, I believe. So roll your D12 if it's an 11 or a 12. That is life point damage. If it's 10 or less, that just goes on her hit points. So 5. So 5 hit points damage. She has taken now a total of 17 HP damage.
And you still have another action.
That is true.
So it'd be my understanding is I'm not picking her up, but my claws are definitely in her, right? Like clawed into her.
Yeah, if you want.
Then I think my other action would be to pull away, right? Because it's not going to pull a chunk out, but it is going to cause probably extreme pain.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that's a secondary attack if you're trying to do more damage. I guess narratively we would say like whether or not you actually like rend more flesh or if your claws
Yeah.
just like slip out or whatever. But yeah, I would think a second instance of damage would require a second attack. Mechanically speaking. I don't know.
Okay. Well, then I am actually going to hold on to it and see how things go in case I need to react. But
Yeah.
I would say that my claws are in her back flesh, just grabbed onto her right now.
Okay.
Oh god. All right. Yeah. And she used both of her actions as well. So, yeah. That's gonna go to Dion. Mommy, ooh,
All right.
mummy.
I still have one action, and
Yes.
Sangreti still has one action.
Correct.
Did you let go of her?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
No, my claws are still part of her.
Okay.
I think the intent here, character-wise, I'm trying to cause her as much non-lethal pain as possible to get her to give up.
Yeah. I'm gonna bonk her with my cane. Well, no. I'm gonna light her on fire because she's furry. And furries should be lit on fire. No, I'm kidding. But she is flammable, I'm assuming, because hair. So yeah, I'm gonna roll a Zen roll to do my level 1 fire tower.
Yeah, to
I
attack.
rolled
Oh
a
my
nat
God.
20. I do better than expected and then some, I'm sure. I want that bitch lit on fucking fire.
All right.
Your reaction might be to let go.
That is exactly what. Yeah, my reaction is to let go and get above her so I don't get set on fire. I see the beginning of the fire and just say no.
We're gonna say that has a lethal range of 8 to 12. So you roll some damage here.
Do 7 hit point damage.
7 HP damage. So that 7 plus 17 is 22 HP damage. She is pretty badly injured at this point. She hasn't taken any life points damage. I'm not going to tell you how close she is to running out of HP, but she is close to running out of just her HP. I'm going to roll secretly here to see what she does. All right. She starts freaking the fuck out. And I think we're gonna just rule of cool this because you just set somebody on fucking fire. I'm gonna give her an extra reaction this round. As she freaks out, she just throws that chunk of meat right at your face, like not even thinking, just a reaction to like and like throws like the thing in her hand, like right in right in mommy's face.
I just catch it in one of the holes, like the tail tip just goes in the hole. I'm just like, boop.
So dexterity, she's just whipping it at you. She performs under as expected for her. So yeah, you just catch the meat. The slug guy is going to attempt to put her out.
Man, I hope the slug is the cook because she's having a bad day.
Yeah. He's just gonna like kind of I'm gonna say he's like wearing maybe like a cape or a cloak or something on top of his armor. He just like whips it off and like smothers her, and they spend their turns just like, I don't know, stop, dropping, and rolling. And we're gonna call the combat here because I'm assuming that your next actions are going to be to take flight and leave this fucking place.
Yeah.
Yes and no. As we're leaving, I want to undo another pouch and drop it, and it's just a bag of bandages.
Oh, I thought you were gonna drop more salt on them.
I'm not that much of an asshole.
You're like, gonna
I'm just
drop
saying.
my reserve pouch of salt.
I thought about dropping another pouch that was just pepper because I forgot that I had dropped the salt. But I'm gonna do the nice thing and drop band-aids.
Amazing, amazing. All right. I think real quick, this is a good place to take a quick break because I have to pee.
Me too. Oh my
So-
god, twins.
Twins. All right, we'll be right back in say like, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes at the most. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Yeah, making sure that I'm actually on camera. Okay. All right, so before the break, our two contestants here are in a cooking competition. They were given the secret ingredient of a, oh god, I'm blanking on the creature's name. Something dog. Zetsu dog. Zetsu dog tail. They went into a seedy back alley diner to get some ingredients. After potentially annoying a slug in a suit of armor by tossing some salt at him, ran into said slug and his cooking partner. Had a little bit of a tussle, but were able to escape with ingredient in hand. So what's the next step, you guys? Is there anything else that you want or need? Before going back to the arena, like any other ingredients or anything that you might want for your recipe?
I think I'll just stop at at the marketplace at some little fresh vegetable stand. I'm just gonna pick up some varying veggies, leafy greens, etc.
Okay. Sounds good. So it doesn't sound like anything overly complicated, but
No, just some basics.
Okay.
Like
I am,
mushrooms, some, like I said, like dark leafy greens like spinach or something. Some maybe some radishes, carrots, that kind of stuff.
I'm going to look
Potatoes.
while we're in the market for a liquor salesman and get
Oh, I
an
have.
incredibly high proof whiskey.
Ooh.
all right, yeah, make a wisdom check for me to see if you can locate or ascertain who may be selling high quality alcohols.
Nope, no idea. Couldn't tell you. I'm
No
pretty bad at that.
It's all good. I got cooking cherry on me.
Oh, this was meant to be a secondary prize for the people who just got screwed up in an alleyway.
Their prize is living.
I'm
Is a
friendly, not malicious.
Real cutthroat. It's a real cutthroat competition, huh?
This is love and cooking. There is no time for else.
But is there time? Who knows?
Time is an illusion.
Maybe that's the real secret ingredient in all of this is time.
like the time we're running out of. Let's get back.
All right, so you guys pick up the rest of your ingredients and head back to the Coliseum. I would like each of you to make, or I guess this is a Sangreti roll. Make a dexterity check since you're the one who's doing the flying here.
Not so great.
Okay, so the fight in the alleyway has actually you guys were the first out of there and the first to grab like the actual ingredients, but the tussle in the alleyway and then stopping to pick up your extra ingredients after that has actually put you kind of not in last place, obviously. But you guys are not the first back. There is the team of the two humans has already returned, and they have started like doing prep. They're not like,
Mhm.
frying pans are heating up, ovens being prepped, one of them's like doing sous chef chopping vegetables, like that kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
The other two teams have not gotten back yet. So you're the second team back here.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
think
So,
Yeah, so at this point, I think my question for you is, what are you trying to cook?
well,
What's the recipe?
you're just gonna have to find out and watch, cause Mommy Umami speaks no words, but she just heads over to her station, pulls out the wok that's all heavily seasoned of 50 plus years of cooking and tender care of proper cooking instruments, And she, instead of preheating the pan, she slaps it down and immediately pours like a good level of cooking sherry in it and turns on the heat and starts like reducing that while the pan is heating so it's not going to overheat too quickly by being poured in a hot pan, right?
Sure.
So she's going to do that, and while that's started, she's gonna direct her friend here to try and chop up vegetables with his talons and such. She's just gonna be like, make the little slicey dicey motion and point at all the veggies um, to direct him to do that. And what she's gonna do with this tail that she has is she's waiting. So as the wine starts heating up, she'll wait for her chopped vegetables and see how that goes before she continues.
Okay. Um,
I'm
I
gonna
think.
summon a bucket of water and some soap and wash my talons before.
Good
They're
job.
they're they're a little gross and
Fair,
we're cooking now.
fair. Um, all right. So part of this competition, I was gonna have a cooking knowledge check to devise a recipe,
Mm,
play a role, and then actual cooking skill checks
yeah,
to actually cook the recipe.
got it.
So I think for right now, first things first, right? You got to come up with a recipe, even if you don't want to tell me what it is.
I can roll for it. Yeah.
Yeah, roll cooking knowledge here. I'm gonna roll
Okay.
some in secret so I can see how good.
Oh
Ooh, you
no.
did not devise a very good recipe.
I don't have a recipe in mind. I'm flying
You're
blind at this
flying
moment.
blind. All right.
I will do the cooking skill check though now, if that's cool, to make sure that I don't screw up this first initial process. And that's better than expected, I'm thinking. Let's double check that.
Grab my
So
pen here.
10 plus wiggle room of wisdom, 12 plus my cooking skill, 13. Yeah, better than expected.
You're going blind, but you're doing pretty good.
Mommy Umami never has to plan, only cook. No think, only cook.
All right. So that. All right.
Does Sangreti gotta do like a knife check to chop vegetables correctly,
um.
or talon check, I should say?
I mean, yes. I guess it'd be like, I guess I can apply. Um. Yeah. If Sangreti is being your sous chef, I forget what you guys said your actual like breakdown on who was doing what part of this was. But yeah, it would be like a blades, like a knife check, or if you're not using knives and you're actually using your talons to like chop stuff up, I would say it's a talon check to like slice up the food. Talons aren't going to give you as accurate of a result as if you were using like an actual knife to do this. So like if you're going for like presentation and preparation and all that kind of stuff, I'd say you'd have to get an above average roll to like get, really nice even cuts on the vegetables. But like an average roll is like, yeah, you'll get an okay job, right? Like you'll get it chopped up, but it's not going to be like the most beautiful presentation, right?
Um, Mr. Mochi only does the most basic tasks because he has to fly while doing it, and that would just put dill across the kitchen most of the time. So um,
True.
I will conjure up 2 knives. One of them's kind of like a cleaver. One of them's just a traditional chef's knife for general purpose cutting. And I'm gonna go for a nice, clean, even dice.
So you grab one knife and one talon foot, grab the other one and another talon foot. She's a maniac, starts playing on the PA system as you're just like running up in place, chopping these. She's a maniac, chopping up the vegetables. Give us a roll there for your.
Not so great. Look,
Ooh, not so
Just
great.
a tower-dwelling bird chopping vegetables for a
Very
cooking competition.
very uneven vegetable chopping.
It's
Um
perfect. It's
you're
all
getting
part of my
like
plan. We're
you're
going
getting
for the
some
rustic
onion
look.
peel in the pot as well. Yeah, not the best.
All right.
you won't notice it.
So
It's tail gumbo for sure,
it's
right?
fine because I'm gonna pick through and I'm gonna pick the best parts of it. I'm going for a rustic look, so this like heavy, like rough chop is perfect. I kind of like make sure I daintily peel off any onion skin, but otherwise, that all those veggies after he chops them and I pick through them, those are going right into the cooking sherry that is slowly warming to soak in. And then I pull out my big jar of Mami Umami's secret spice blend. It's MSG. And I just dump a good amount in there and mix it in, let everything kind of simmer. And
Fair
then I
enough.
add the tail at this point to rehydrate with the seasoned wine as
All
it's
right.
still reducing into the meat because the
So
meat's
that
already
sounds like a
cooked.
more complicated thing than actually just heating up some wine. So at this point, I'm gonna
Right.
need you to give me a cooking check here.
Right. Cooking check.
Yeah, skill check.
That is roughly as expected with my wiggle room, I think. Let me double check. Cooking is a 1, wisdom is a 2, that is a 3. Yep, that's within my
Yeah.
wiggle. Yep. So I do just what I wanted to do.
Okay.
All part of my plan that I don't have.
All part of a plan that you don't have. Very nice. All right. So you got your meat cooking. Your
Mhm.
vegetables are there.
Mhm.
um, what is the let's see. Was there like one last thing you need in the actual cooking process here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As this is like simmering, I cover it to keep all the moisture inside so that meat does not dry out. And I let
Mm-hmm.
it sit, I turn it on low. And then I go to another pan that I have. I don't have a pan. I kind of put a hand out expecting a frying pan from my bird companion at this point. You just see a hand and I just make like a tossing motion, like I'm tossing stir fry with an invisible pan.
I'm gonna summon that sucker on up.
I immediately move the pan as it forms into my freaking hand to the heat, and I pour the bottomless bag of hard candies. I pour a good amount of that into the pan with some more cooking sherry, and I begin to melt down the candies to a rich
Okay.
caramelized glaze.
Interesting. So you're going with a nice. Think you're going with aromatic vegetables with
Hmm.
a nice fatty savory meat, but with a
Hmm.
sweet sugar sauce.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. I guess maybe it would be like barbecue. Kind of like a
Well, you
sweet
said
barbecue sauce, maybe.
you said it's like a tender meat cut. So what's going through Mommy Umami's mind is like this is like beef. And so what goes really good with
Yeah,
beef? Vegetables like beef stew. What's a good
sure.
counteractive agent so that beef stew isn't too strong? Brown sugar. So sugar. So I'm caramelizing a glaze to glaze over the meat when I'm done and the
Sure.
vegetables. And
All
once that's
right.
all in, I mix it all together and I swirl it all in the wok. I'm tossing the wok a bit, like I uncover it and I'm tossing it with the candy glaze. It's all coating in together, right? It's all coming together. I then get a fresh plate out and I get 3 plates. I put I get some water and I rinse my leafy greens off real good, but I keep the water on it, like very, like droplets. I don't shake it out completely because I'm going to be putting this hot stuff on it. I don't want it to wilt before presentation. So I keep these plates with the wet leafy greens on the plates. And they're all set up and they're ready to plate the rest of the stuff on it, but I'm not plating yet.
All right.
Uh,
So give
and
us one last
then
cooking check for all this.
Yeah, one last cooking check. It's gonna be bop, nat 20.
Oh.
And then I'm doing a Zen check as I turn the heat off the wok and I just hold the pan and I'm gonna as I transfer the pan over, I'm using my Zen magic of alteration to permanently alter this the contents in this wok to be just super jam packed with as much umami as possible.
Okay.
So
Yeah, give
Zen
us a
check,
Zin roll here.
bop,
7.
and I am going to I have to use 2 of my points too. So I rolled a 7. My wiggle for my Zin is a 4 plus cooking is a 5. So I do about as I planned. I jam pack that bitch with umami on top of the umami that's already in it.
Amazing.
Um,
Absolutely amazing.
I'm going to then plate everything on top of the spinach. Like I pour a bit of each. Like I chop the meat into 3 sections and make sure it's coated, and then I plate it with like a layer of veggies over the greens, and then like the beef cut on top, and then the extra juices and glaze I put in little like saucers on the side for extra sauce if desired, so the dish is not too saucy. And then I finalize it up with as I bring it over. I am like immediately moving over to present, like hopefully first, I'm assuming. And I just move over and I finish it off with a quick flambe of the Tower of Fire. I flambe the very top of the beef just briefly to like double caramelize the top almost, like give it like a not burnt but like that like smokiness on top of the sweet and really
Like a
add like an
Christmas
extra
spiral ham.
depth. Kind of, yeah. I'm going for like a sweet, smoky, like beef thing on top of the hearty veggies that are sweetened with the caramelized like glaze, and so they're not fully cooked either, so they have a good give to them. So when they get this shell on it, it's just this perfect tender vegetable instead of like mush. Because I didn't have to
Okay.
cook everything too long because the meat was already cooked. It was
Right.
just in the pan long enough
Yeah.
to heat up and like coat it, protect it, and dish.
Yeah, so you definitely would get you would definitely be done first. All right. Give me a presentation roll. I guess that's just another cooking or maybe wisdom. Maybe it's a flat wisdom to present it properly. If you don't have like a plating or something
I have
skill.
baking and cooking. I would say maybe baking is semi-presentation oriented because you kind of like decorate, but I'm not baking anything. But so you just want me to do wisdom?
Yeah. So,
Alright, alright. Bop. That is an 8. I have a wiggle of 2, I think, for wisdom. I do. I have a wiggle of 2 for wisdom. That's about as expected. Just at the line. So it's like this rustic grandmother meal that's gonna remind you of home, but be jam-packed full of more flavor than your white mother ever could think of.
Okay.
Cause I know how to spice my damn food.
So you guys get a bonus for being first.
And the best.
Well, we'll find out. I've been
I
doing some
also
rolls in secret here.
I also finish it up with, after I played everything before them, I pull one candy from my bag. It's like a Werther's original, like a hard caramel, like sweet but not sicky sweet. And
Yeah,
I just do that as like an after dinner mint.
I love it. I love it. Um, so the judges taste like your plate. Um, it's hard to kind of peg their reaction to it. Um, it's kind of strange, like the sugary sweetness, but the savory vegetables and all this stuff. But you had a fairly good presentation, and you were first, so that's definitely a plus in this like competition where like getting a recipe together and out like quickly is like important.
Mm.
Um, the one of the other teams just goes full savory in like a stew, a hearty like meat vegetable stew. Another one plates a pretty standard kind of like what you guys did, right? With like the slab of meat kind of sauce drizzle on top with like some roasted vegetables on the plate. The last group, the one with like the big guy, the hardened and the Nuck team, they actually make a like baked meaty mac and cheese style dish for
Mm.
this. Um like if you've ever made a sort of homemade mac and cheese, you like melt the butter and put the milk and then you like mix the cheese in to make that kind of gooey cheese sauce. Well, instead of using the butter, they use like the rendered like tail fat to like make that sort of like incorporate all the
Yeah.
flavors, and they put like diced sliced like nice sliced thin strips of meat in the mac and cheese dish. um and so the results are in fourth place, and coming in last is the Feyborn and Suit team
Oh
with
no.
a total combined score across their recipe, their actual cooking ability, and their presentation. Their total combined score is a 51, as my calculations here.
Do they look like
Oh yeah,
old school movie, fresh out of the hospital, like mummied up bandages?
definitely. Yeah, the Feyborn cat lady, full on like bandages, like charcoal looking, like kind of like smoke kind of still coming off of her for some reason, even though she's been like completely extinguished. Yeah, they're looking rough. They definitely came in last. In third place, we have the human team. They were here first. They got a head start before anybody.
Mm.
But with a 52, they came in third place with their sort of standard just steak and potatoes kind of thing with a standard sauce. They weren't taking any risks. Their recipe was solid, but it wasn't the most impressive recipe, right? Um just kind of like, yeah, you did good. Um Now it's down to you and the hardened team. Your strange savory sweet mixture versus the mac and cheese. And with a
I
drum
do like
roll,
mac and cheese.
with a drum roll, in first place is the hardened and Nuck. They beat you out.
Oh.
I rolled a 20 for their recipe design.
Oh shit.
Their cooking was actually, they cooked it. It was pretty simple. They didn't do much fanciness with the actual cooking. Their cooking was the lowest score out of everybody, but that recipe really, that 20 in a recipe, it was just creative in a way that the judges weren't expecting. And you guys actually got presentation was equal for you. But even with your bonus for being first, I gave you guys an extra 5 points. That one on the recipe really killed you. The final scores, 44 for you guys versus 55 for them.
Wow.
Like, it was neck and neck. I literally just added up your actual D20 totals for everything and then gave you guys 5 bonus points for being first. So if I did my math correctly, yeah, you guys got a 54 and they got a 55, just edging you out. And that's with you getting a 1 on the recipe and them getting a 20 on the recipe.
Damn.
Yeah, you guys, your actual cooking was the best. You got a 40 just on cooking alone. They got a 27 on cooking.
I better get a fucking deal, a book deal after this.
But yeah, that brings to a close this year's giant cooking competition, harvest celebration. There really aren't any losers here. Everybody made some pretty delicious food.
Except
you
the
were
slug and the
taking
cat. They're the fucking losers.
yeah, except for them,
Yep.
because they are
Lost.
losers. But yeah, everyone's having a good time. People want, like, come up to you guys after the like, oh man, that's like really interesting, inspired recipe. They, like, people want, like, your recipe and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think we're gonna bring this to a close. We'll let give it. God damn, my words. We're gonna give our lovely players here a little bit of time to let you all know in the audience what they do and where they can be found. We'll start with Substances. Let them know where you can be found and what you do when you're not playing games
Hello.
here.
Oh, yes, I am Dion, also known as Substances Used on Twitch. I am a retro gamer. I play JRPGs and other sort of titles and other games as well. When I'm not doing that on my channel, you can find me all over Twitch on other channels playing D&D and other tabletop-inspired games. And right now, I guess the big thing to announce is I just celebrated my 1 year affiliate anniversary, so that's pretty cool. And tomorrow, I am planning to finish Super Mario RPG. We're at the final stretch. We're going to go
Nice.
through the final bit and beat the snot out of another game by the 4th stream. This is the 3rd game in a row that I've beaten within 4 streams. So that's an impressive feat for me.
Yeah, and Sangreti, let them know what you do when you're not here playing games.
When I'm not here being a murdery bird person, I am on my own channel. It's actually changing from Fridays to Mondays. We will be showing a movie and making a themed cocktail. Our next upcoming movie is actually the Santa Claus, the one with Tim Allen, the original there. And for those of you that really do enjoy holiday-themed drinks, there will be a peppermint drink for the night.
Schnapps? Is it schnapps based? It's the
So
only
it-
peppermint liquor that I know of.
It is not schnapps, no.
Oh,
There might be schnapps involved, but it's not peppermint schnapps.
peach
Mm.
schnapps? No, that's the only other flavor of schnapps that I know is peach.
There's a couple of them.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, check it out. I love the I don't drink a lot myself, but I do appreciate a good cocktail, so I definitely enjoy learning new things like that. So go check out Sangreti as well. For me, I do comics and art stuff on stream when I'm not doing TTRPGs. Coming up, I got to do some work for a client. I'm doing some comic pages for JL Draco and Oneshi Press. But once we're done with that, probably in the next day or two, I'll be back doing my noir book. We got to get that done by the end of the month. And then hopefully in January, if I have enough time to prep stuff this month, these two lovely people will be back on this channel, and we'll be doing a Fallout, literally Fallout, the video game, except TTRPG. Modifius made a 2D20 system for Fallout. And so we're going to be playing the official Fallout licensed RPG, hopefully starting in January. We'll keep you updated on that, but I want to do it early in the new year. Our main long running seasons last about 8 episodes, so about 2 months. So we're looking at January, February for that. But yeah, we are going to raid the wonderful Stella Luna. She's playing D&D tonight. And she's a wonderful person, wonderful community. I've played a game on her channel. It was Masks. She's a lovely person, and the community is very warm and welcoming, wonderful people. So we're gonna go say hi to them. They are going to be starting their D&D game soon. So thanks for watching, everybody. I will be back probably on Monday or Tuesday with an art stream, and we'll see you next weekend, same time, same place, for another one shot. Dion will be back. We're gonna be playing Wet Hot American Summer, the RPG. Dion will be here. Hopefully, Taylor of Terror Billie Jean will be here. And since Wet Hot American Summer is a summer camp themed RPG, I've actually gotten one of my old summer camp counselors to join in on the game as well. He's a good friend of mine, and I think it's going to be an absolute riot of a time. So be sure to come back next Saturday night at around 9 p.m. Eastern for that game as well. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
To the raid. Yay.